there is a trend of more and more men starting to seek therapy, not just in a couple's context, but on their own. But at the same time, there is a whole narrative out there in the world that iffy on about how therapy is a failing model for men. And it's not the right model of helping men work on their mental health. And I'm in two minds about it, and I'm really curious about your thoughts. On one hand, I think that principles and practices of supporting your mental health and communication habits and relationship habits get phrased in a way that turns men off. And it's, the wrong colors, the wrong language delivered by the wrong person on social media. It's like, I don't want this. Like, what is this shit? What is this soft shit? Is how a lot of men will react to it, right? Like, I don't have time for this. Like, what are you saying? I've got like all these responsibilities. That's one aspect of it. It's a communication problem, right? But on the other side of it, it seems like it's also, I don't think it's the complete story to just say that men aren't designed to do therapy like women are, because they're not as good at connecting with their emotions, and they're not as good at talking about their emotions, and women naturally form deep social networks with other women, and men aren't inclined for that. For me, men just aren't exposed to the tools.
Yeah.
But I think that's my bias. I don't know, actually. I'm curious about your...
So pertaining to the first point that you mentioned, that is the skill of the therapist, right? And the fit between the therapist and the client, right? Like, if you don't like, a frou-frou person who's using all this language, then you got to find me. Because I don't use that language because I don't think it fits with a lot of people. Maybe I've done it once in a while because I was matching that person and where they came in and they like it. So I can tell they like it, and I try to use it, the lingo, because I can tell it appeals to them. But for the most part, you're supposed to match the client. Like if I've had clients that come in and go, yo, what's up? They just like lay back in their chair and they start vaping, and so I match it, right?
You start vaping?
I whip it out. No, but what I mean? Like you gotta meet the person where they're at so they feel comfortable, and so that therapy is accessible. You don't use the word inner child with them because it'll gross them out, right?
Yeah, and I think a lot of men get turned off by stuff like that. It's the inner child and words like authenticity and manifesting and just like stuff that they see online that just gets associated with self-help and personal development and women. But actually, therapy with someone good who knows how to match isn't like that.
It's not like that, because you'll just use their words. That's what that's what therapy should be, is you use the words of the client that the client would use to describe something like that. You can't always get it right, but you guess, right? And you go at that level. The other thing is, I'd say men and women come in at all different levels. Like I've had many women come in that, are just at that level where they don't know how to speak about emotion. They can't talk about it well. They can't access it within themselves, So I think everyone is just that comes in at different levels.
And when it comes to men not feeling that, I'm just not that way. I don't really like talking about my emotions. I don't really need to. It's not very helpful to me. For me, maybe kind of biased, kind of judgy. I'm like, no, you just haven't practiced.
Yes, you just don't know how you haven't had it be beneficial to you yet.
That's a better framing.
Right?
That's a better
So you still think it's going to get in the way. You still think it's going to be inconvenient. You still think it's pointless, or it's unhelpful even, or it's a weakness.
Can we spend just a moment there? It's unhelpful and it's weakness and there's no point to it. For me, people don't realize the value of talking about how you feel and exploring how you feel, and how much that process can open up doors of happiness and contentment and connectedness that you just don't have access to now because you don't allow yourself to feel. And I think from personal experience and from what I know, if you spend all of your time holding it in, instead of learning to express it, it will pop up as something at some point, whether that's headaches, migraines, anxiety, tightness in the chest, an actual deeper health issue, hypertension, just anything like chronic stress related, right? And then you get burnt out and all that stuff. But what else can we say about what is the value of exploring my emotions anyway?
Well, firstly, let's go to the other side. Why do people think it's inconvenient or unhelpful, right? Because they think, oh, like if I'm sad, it just debilitates me and then I can't do anything, right? Or I start crying in the middle of the night. I don't want to cry in front of people I don't know, right? Or they think if I allow myself to think about why I'm angry, I just get more pissed off. So then it's not helpful at all, right? So that's the train of thought I think most people go down. But why is it helpful? Is because if you understand the emotion, then you can go deeper into it and you can try and figure out why you had that reaction. There's a reason you had that reaction, right? And when you have the emotion, your body's trying to tell you, this is how you feel. Like if you're angry, something's unfair to you, right? If you're sad, something's missing, right? So it's signals, and then you can figure out what those signals mean. So then you can have solutions that help.
Yeah, I think that's such a helpful frame to the emotion that you feel is almost always calling your attention to something important. It might be presenting in like a really sort of overwhelming way or an over-indexed way, and it might be coming out in an unhelpful way. But it doesn't change the fact that it's calling your attention to something important. It's trying to tell you something. And you don't need to, you can be a little bit Buddhist about it and observe the emotion kind of passing through you and acknowledging it for what it is, but not over subscribing to the emotion being hyper important in any way. But also acknowledging that, okay, where did that come from? And sort of play an investigator and sort of like walk the windy path of trying to figure out what happened there. Did someone cross a boundary? Did someone say something that offended me? Why did it offend me? Which value was it rubbing up against? Because a lot of times when you do that work, and you can do it by yourself, you can do it in your journal, you can just sit in a corner and think by yourself. Where you get to is, oh yeah, I think it happens because last time I had this boss who used to say this stuff to me and I used to get so anxious when she did that. And then you realize, oh, that was like 15 years ago. Does it still serve me well? And you can make a decision because maybe it does still serve you well, but if it doesn't, now you have a choice.
Yeah. And I think that people get very worried about emotion taking them in directions they don't want to go. Like it drags them here, or it drags them there. And like anger makes me do things I don't want to do, or jealousy makes me do this and that. I feel like something I believe in is you can experience and have an emotion, and any emotion is kind of okay to have. You don't need to judge the fact that you have it, but you do need to be responsible for how you behave.
Any emotion is okay to have. You are responsible for how it makes you behave.
Yeah, so you can be super freaking jealous, right? But if you go stab someone, like that's awful, right? So, or if you go yell at someone, or if you, I don't know, cheat or steal or whatever, right? If it harms someone else, you're responsible for that. So be responsible to take beneficial action or stay neutral, don't do anything. But however you feel is okay. People feel bad, feel guilty for how they feel. And I think it's okay to have any emotion. There's no emotion that you should feel bad.
I'm not allowed to.
Or that you feel bad for having, right? Like I feel guilty for doing something. I mean, guilt's there for a reason, right? It's there to teach you.
Yeah. I guess
that maybe you don't want to do that kind of thing anymore, right?
I think part of the conditioning you get when you're a kid is when you want to cry, you want to feel sad, or you do feel jealousy or whatever, there's usually someone around you, an adult, who goes like, no, like basically saying, don't feel that way. You shouldn't feel that way. And then you develop this thing of like, oh, okay, like I guess
I'm not supposed to.
I'm not supposed to.
Yeah. That's the most common thing that people come in with. And I think that is such an additional layer. You're always judging yourself for how you feel.
Would it be more accurate to be like, you can judge yourself and hold yourself to a very high standard on how you react to the emotion? That's where being a good person lies. But don't judge yourself for having the emotion. Would you get behind that?
That's where I put it.
Yeah, I think that's very helpful for me as well.
that you can't usually help your emotional reactions to things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you can't be like, why the hell did you feel that way? Like you felt that way,
Yeah,
right?
how dare you be angry?
Yeah.
Right? Like, what
Just
the
like-
hell, right?
It's all like, why are you crying?
Yeah, why are you sad?
Yeah.
Stop being sad. I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
Like,
it's just right?
yeah. And judging the person like that and pushing them to not be, it's like the opposite of what they need at that time. Yeah.
Yeah. And so we need to do that for ourselves, right? Is hold the space for whatever emotion is. And don't feel that it's silly. Don't feel that it's small.
Yeah.
Often looks silly or petty or small on the surface, but deeper, there's always a reason that does make sense, that isn't silly or petty, that comes from an experience that you've had or many experiences you've had.
Well, I'll tell you a really typical male pattern, only because like I talk to so many guys about this now. It's you feel something like sadness because you're actually quite sensitive and someone said to you something that hurt your feelings. And many adult men would go, and they have that feeling and they go, whatever, fuck it, I don't really give a shit anyway.
Yeah.
It doesn't bother me, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
And then they go and then, I don't know, like they have a wank or like they go lift weights or they like go distract themselves by doom scrolling and then they just don't deal with it. And actually, if you're just you by yourself and you take like, I don't know, 3 minutes to be like, oh, I'm sad. Like, why did that make me so sad? What was it about what that person said that made me really, really sad? And you just follow, there's no pattern beyond that. You just follow the way your mind and your heart lead you. And it might lead you somewhere like, because that's actually, this person, this relationship is one of the most important relationships in my life. And I feel like when he said that to me, it meant that he doesn't trust me. And that makes me really sad. And then you can get to a place of, how can I say it to this person in a way, give the feedback where I don't feel super soft and super like weak about it, but I give the feedback that, or maybe I ask a question to clarify, how do you actually feel about me? So I can not have my sense of self be so rocked because of one thing that one person said.
Yeah, I think when you go deeper, you just find out vital information about yourself that you can use, right?
For what reason?
For improving a relationship with someone, for
Yourself.
with yourself.
To what ultimate goal?
Feel connected, feel at one with yourself, feel at peace,
Yeah,
feel
I think that might be it.
content.
Yeah, I think you have to, don't know, but I think you have to feel at one with yourself and aligned with yourself to feel content. And I only get it in like fleeting phases. Like there used to be fleeting moments, and then now they'll be like a little bit longer. And then sometimes in different versions of states of flow, like when we're hanging out with the kids or we're doing some family thing, and then everything else disappears and it's just about this sort of pure, joyous experience. But yeah, I guess if there is a point to doing all this work on yourself, it is to, right?
Yeah.
Just like
But I think
be at peace with
maybe
all.
for you and for probably many others, you over-identified with being someone who enjoys tension and friction and roughing it out, right? So then you leaned into that so heavily that maybe you forgot that, but actually peaceful feels really nice.